Battleline podcast. We'll get right into everything, but I'm Ian Scotto.
I'm Tonto. What's going on?
I'm very excited to talk to Jake Zweig this episode. Every time I talk to that guy, it's just a fun, exciting conversation. And it's been a couple of years. But for those new listeners, we talk to all different people, motivational figures, inspirational figures. But most importantly, I'm going to keep it more military, special operations, CIA focused, because I realize that's what you guys want to hear. Every now and again, I'll switch it up, but I know episodes like these are what you guys like the best.
Yes, because we're freaking cool. So get over it, dude.
You guys are, absolutely. And Jake is, and Jake is a character, so I'm excited to talk to him for sure. But before we get into everything, you hear us all the time talk about Ned CBD and their full transparency. The fact that they're not a proprietary blend of all these ingredients, it's just two great ingredients. It's CBD and full spectrum hemp. And I pretty regularly talk to the founders, Adrian and Rhett, when we let them know what we're up to. And they always say they love hearing you, Chris, talk about your connection to Paonia, Colorado. Yeah. And that's why you love what they do. So
yeah, and I grew up there. I have family still there. That's the Western Slope. It's where my grandfather had his farm in Delta, Colorado, which is just down the road from Paonia. And it's the salt of the earth. So having that tie-in, but then also, you can have a tie-in, you can have all the little bells and whistles, but if the product isn't good, it's still not going to do well. And the product is excellent. So the tie-in with that, the nature, that the part of the country that it's in, which again, that's farm country out there, guys, Western Colorado, but also the product is outstanding. And I still, like, the immunity blend rocks, man. I use that everywhere. It's a part of my healthy lifestyle that I have now. And then also highly recommend any of the CBD products and the body butter. Again, don't let that fool you. The body butter is not like a body butter, cocoa butter that you see on the commercials, the tan commercial. It's not a lotion. It is an anti-inflammatory, and it's better than any analgesic I've ever used. And it takes the pain right out. My sister, who has diabetes and who has problems, and sorry, Jamie, I'm putting your dirty laundry out there. But my sister, who has diabetes and who has had issues with her joints, and she actually, she's had issues with her feet, uses it and swears by it. And so I get her a bottle and she goes through it about once every couple of months. She'll need a new one. I'll get a new one for her. It's the best thing she's ever used. And she doesn't have to get on hard medication to stop the pain. So awesome stuff, guys.
Yeah, that absolutely says it all. So, I mean, there's all different products on there. In terms of the CBD, it's really great for, any anxiety, sleeping issues. And then they also have products that are targeted just towards sleep issues. So if you go to the site and check out all the products, you're going to find something that you like. We wouldn't endorse it if we didn't believe in it. That's the God's honest truth. So if you want to check out Ned and try their CBD or any of this for yourself, we have a special offer for the Battleline audience. Go to helloned.com/Battleline or enter Battleline at checkout for 15% off your first one-time order or 20% off your first subscription order, plus free shipping. That's HELLONED.com/Battleline to get 15% off your first one-time order or 20% off your first subscription order, plus free shipping. Thank you, Ned. Go there now, and you guys will find stuff that you like. So it's just helloned.com/Battleline. And every show is sponsored by our friends at Fort Scott Munitions. We're going to get into some gun control stuff this episode for the firearms audience. We always like talking about that stuff. But, hey, it's important. So yeah. Fort Scott is a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition. It's designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammo outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Go find Fort Scott at any dealership near you. If you go to fortscottmunitions.com and look at the dealer locator right there on the website, you're going to find locations everywhere. Like right here where I am on Long Island, South Shore Sportsman, that's a quick drive in Merrick. So shout out to those guys. But type in your zip code, you're going to find somewhere to get it.
Yeah, just look for the ammunition, and it's still like everybody else. They're running low on the common ammunition. When I say common, 5.56 and 9 mil, and then some 300 blackout. But if you're running uncommon ammunition like 38 special or anything, that stuff's out there, guys. In fact, I was just at the Alamo doing a book signing and a couple weeks ago, and they have 38 special ammunition there from Fort Scott, which is excellent, and that's an excellent home defense round as well. So find them, check them. There's still ammo out there. I know they're running low, but they're catching back up, and they're getting the 9 mil and the 5.56, and then my favorite, the 300 blackout, back on the shelf. So check them out, and then also check out their apparel line that they have. Excellent t-shirts, excellent hats, and excellent apparel that they're starting to do, and they use good products on that as well. Next level type shirts, which is what we all like. That soft stuff next to
I'm currently wearing a next
to our chichis up here. That's what my grandpa used to call it. Chichi, my abuelo. So tremendous group, guys, tremendous company, and again, they're getting back online with the ammo, but they also have other products out there, and they're top of the line stuff too.
Yeah, and if you want to check out that apparel and get 15% off, use the exclusive promo code Battleline at FortScottMunitions.com. Link is in description. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline podcast. Let's go.
From Omaha, Nebraska to New York City, from planet Earth to extraterrestrial life in space, a podcast with no equal, engaged in unconventional warfare through your speakers and headphones. This is a show about embracing the suck, conquering your demons, and finding God in the face of adversity. Chris Tonto Peranto.
Twitch is on. Motherfucker, I'm going to shoot you in the face.
Ian Scotto.
Ian and I have been dating for a long time.
You are now tuned into the Battleline podcast.
The switch is on. Battleline podcast, and we have Jake Zweig coming on, but I figure we'll get right into it. I'm sure this audience wants to hear your take on it. Yeah. Just yesterday, before we were recording, it was announced by President Biden, the basically gun control measures.
Sure.
I've read up on it. This is a little different than executive actions of the past, because it's not like a ban on a particular platform. It more involves the 3D printers. So I, of course, wanted to get your take on it.
Well, I'm not a big into the 3D printers. I do believe that there has to be parameters set for guns and who makes the gun, so forth. I just somebody in their home that can make a gun. I'm not comfortable with that either, to be honest with you. If you have a 3D printer, if you don't have the proper licenses, you haven't gone through the ATF, you don't have the already stringent requirements out there to be a gun manufacturer or to even sell guns, because guys, I do that. I know what you have to do all that. It's not, even for a guy like myself, it's not easy to say, hey, you can sell guns, not even to get to the point where you can make guns or make parts. So I don't have an issue with the cracking down on 3D printing, just to the normal Joe, just to like you and me having one in my house and having the ability to make a gun. Because that's kind of scary, brother. But if you go through the proper channels, if you go through the proper government paperwork, you work through the ATF, you do whatever standards that's set out there by the federal government to be able to 3D print guns or parts, which some of the companies I represent, Maximum Defense is one of them, is able to do that. But also they are able to do that legally. They've gone through the paperwork. They have the ATF paperwork, the backgrounds, the stuff. They are able to do that. So,
but actually, if I could jump in here's what I'm wondering.
Because you know as good as I do, I don't read the news too much.
But here's the thing: I don't know as much as you about the gun industry. So what I'm wondering is, for a company like Maximum Defense, as you're saying, do you think this new Biden law could screw over?
It could. No, it could. I think they're putting some. There's always pork in these things. There's always little extras. And one of theirs is the brace, the PDW brace, the pistol defense weapon brace, which on my toolboxes, that's what that is. And trying to ban that, when you ban that brace, you actually ban my gun, the little toolbox. That's illegal now. So that's where I have issues, is they're trying to sneak these little things in to just take a little bit. And it's always, how it is. Let's just take a little bit in here.
Of course.
All right, next year, let's take a little bit more. And by the end of it, you've lost all your gun rights. And again, but that's what politicians do. That's what they do on both sides when they want something to pass. They've learned that they just can't, like you said, and this is why this is different. They're not just trying an outright ban on a gun. Now they're like, okay, let's do the little victories now. Or the little losses, however you want to look at it. Let's do a little bit here, a little bit here. And by the end of it, you've lost your gun rights. And I have a problem with that. I see that. That's what I see when I see these little, let's take away this. Let's take away this. Because honestly, I think his view on Joe's creepy Joe. Sorry, guys. Joe's view on the braces is that, well, it makes the pistol more accurate. Well, yeah, buttstock, I don't, pistol's a pistol. There's a lot of pieces on there that can make it more accurate. And again, that's where we're going down a slippery slope. If he says this,
and you want it to be accurate, right?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I was going to get to too. I haven't got to there. You beat me to it. Well, hell yeah, it makes it more accurate. You want your weapon system to be more accurate, but then you can say, well, the barrel length makes it more accurate. Well, yeah, because you get more revolutions. The more twist you get in a bullet, the tighter it's going to stay, the longer distance. So it's going to be more accurate at a distance. Oh, well, the trigger press, it's too light, so you don't get as much what we call a flinch, or you can say a jump, and you're not going to pull around. Well, of course, you want to make it a little bit lighter so you're more accurate. See, that's the thing, is we let one go. Now we can say, this is going to make it more accurate. Oh, this is going to make it more dangerous, or this is going to make it. In the end, the thing that makes it most dangerous is the person behind it. And we're still not working on fixing that issue, which is not a gun issue. It's a personality, virtue issue in society where, and this is low-hanging fruit for the Democrats. They do this every time somebody gets in the office. Hey, let's ban guns because it's easy to do, instead of really looking where the problem is. And that's within ourselves. That's within the schools. That's within the families. That's just within society as itself, as we get farther and farther away from, and I'm going to say this, so I don't care if you agree with it or not, farther and farther away from faith, whatever faith that is. But the farther we get away from virtue, the more issues we're going to see as far as violence. And I posted something on Instagram a couple weeks ago about, it was actually kind of, it's really ironic. They have no guns allowed in Kabul, Afghanistan. I
saw that. Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, this is like the war. Country's been at war. There's guns everywhere. And there are, when I say this, I'm not saying it talking out of my ass. There are stringent gun laws in these countries. You are not allowed to have a gun in these countries. Well,
it's not as stringent, but I mean, and this is also, as you said, low-lying fruit, but it's just the truth. The states and the cities where there's mass shootings are the most strict gun laws. We know that. And
that's common sense. That should point back to where gun laws don't work. But it's low-hanging fruit for the liberals, the Democrats. They're going to grab at it. And that's just how they've always done. That's the nature of politics. But what I was saying is that not just that picture, but there were 2 weeks earlier where I got caught in a riot down in this called Duralama Circle, which is just maybe 100 meters past that sign that I was at. There were no guns, there were no clubs, there were no knives. It was just a crowd because I can't remember what the riot was for at that time. There was a person that was trying to break. We got caught. Bad place, wrong time. Our vehicle, our Land Cruiser, got caught in that circle. We didn't know there was a riot. We went the wrong way. We were trying to get out to a place called NDS, which is out in the west side of Kabul. And we got stuck. You got stuck in traffic. You have a choice. You can run people over, which you don't want to do that. I mean, you don't. Or we could sit in traffic. So we sat and waited. And of course, they start seeing Americans in the car. Well, we're fresh meat. We're targets. And they started coming at us. And that was scary in itself. And a guy didn't have a gun, didn't have a club. He tried to break in through our windows with his fist. Now, we had an armored car at that time. And he didn't realize it. So when he hit the window, his fist basically crumbled. It just, so armor. I can't lie. I laughed a little bit at it. But being said is that it doesn't make a difference if you have a weapon or not. If somebody wants to kill you, and I could see it in his eyes, they wanted to grab us out of there, rip our arms off, drag us in the streets, you make an example out of us. They wanted to kill us with a gun or not. Guns are not the issue. Weapons and fire, all that. No, if somebody wants to kill you, they are going to find a way to kill you. And that was just an example where it was so ironic that, first of all, we have these gun laws in Afghanistan that absolutely do nothing, but they still post them on signs, hey, no guns allowed in here. But then also just 2 weeks later, going through an incident where luckily we're in an armored car. Luckily I was armed. So as soon as we all pulled out I had an M4, I was sitting in the back seat. So I had an M4. I pulled mine out and showed it to him. I didn't show it to him through the car. I didn't try to shoot him. I just took it out of the back seat and went like this and said, hey buddy, may want to think twice about this. And the two guys in the front seat had their Glock 19s. They pulled them out and they just were brandishing them, basically just saying, hey, like a rattlesnake, get the hell away. But as soon as those came out, yeah, they backed off. But saying that guns are the only problem with people, and that's if you have a gun, then that's going to make you a killer, is completely wrong. And that example right there was one of many I had overseas with people that wanted to hurt and kill us that were unarmed. Granted, there were times when they were armed, which was scary as well. But gun laws do absolutely nothing to stop violence or even gun violence, because now you've made this. When you make guns illegal, now you've made an underground market for it, just like with prohibition, just like with the war on drugs right now. Hey, drugs are legal. Well, we haven't stopped that for shit, guys. I don't think we're learning from our examples, or we're learning from our past, and we're not learning from other countries' examples, and we're not listening to veterans that have been in the mix and have had incidences with guns and without guns. I don't have a problem with smart regulations like the 3D printers. I don't have an issue with that. As far as not allowing a person, just a normal Joe, to have a 3D printer to be able to make a gun in his house, I think that's crazy. But slamming gun manufacturers and people that are actually doing it legally and have the proper paperwork and have been vetted by the ATF, no, because now we're going down the slippery slope. And just like Jeff said, our Canadian guy, now you're taking away something that is really enjoyable. Sure. Jeff, really enjoyable. And you're taking it away from future generations who may take that up as a sport. And it's taking the guns away from people, is taking a part of some groups like myself and others and their families that enjoy doing that as a family, just as a family that enjoys to go play golf together. We like to go to the range together. You're taking that away from people, and you're taking away their ability to defend themselves. And also, as much as politicians like to say that we're for you. When you don't have them checked, they will start to gain more control. And that's how you start a dictatorship. That's where this comes from, guys. So we don't want to violate our constitutional rights. That is probably still the best document and guideline to follow to live a life, liberty, and happiness, from the Declaration of Independence. Follow that Constitution. Don't let politicians, because it's low-hanging fruit and they like to get elected and like to use anything they can to rattle up their base. Don't let them bastardize the Constitution, guys. Don't. And so Ian, I wish I could say, yeah, I'm totally against everything he's saying. Well, no, I'm not, from what I understand. But I am against just banning things on guns, banning things, because all that's doing is they're allowing them to ban other things down the line. And if ATF has any balls, the directors there will stand up for, because they know a lot of those guys have served. A lot of those guys are veterans. A lot of those guys agree with what I'm saying, but they're worried about losing their jobs. Well, don't. Do the right thing, guys.
The problem with that, though, I should throw out there.
No, please do.
This is AP News when you're saying the ATF, and this is AP News. It says he'll also nominate David Chipman, a former federal agent and advisor at the gun control group Giffords, to be director of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. So, you're going to get people in there with that agenda into those departments.
And agenda is a great word right there. What's the agenda of this party? And it's never the agenda that's best for the people. It's the agenda that's best for Joe and his party. And it doesn't make a difference who's in power. When the next person comes in power, it'll be their agendas. we don't elect people that I believe are best for that have the best interest in all Americans. It's the best interest of whatever their base is. And that's, brother, I don't know how to fix that with politicians, because it doesn't matter who's in office. It's never a politician that I think has the best interest in everyone. It's the best interest of whoever they need to instill to get them elected. And gun control, racism, all are low-hanging fruits out there that it's just easy to get your base riled up on those things. It is, and I did listen to she's on Patriot. Actually, I listened to the Patriot. I was driving.
Okay.
Patriot Network, and something's corner. Sophie's corner. She's.
I know you're talking about. Yeah, and I know her. She's cool. You're talking about Sonny Johnson.
Sonny's corner, and it was awesome. I mean, because she's African American, from what I understand, and her views they're spot on, and you know what? And she doesn't just because she's on Patriot, she doesn't just kowtow to the conservative crowd. She says,
no, not at all. I've heard her clash with people all the time. She's actually. It's funny. I've had conversations with her off air, and she gets very deep into kind of the instilling of communist agenda. And some of it sounds crazy, but then she was I remember she was actually telling me, she was like, the Smurfs were communists. And she's like, they get you started on communism like at a very young age. And she was like, look at, how they all had a certain job, and they all, they were all the same. And I was like, this is making sense. She didn't pull it out of her ass. So yeah.
I didn't hear this first stuff. But the other stuff she says with her views on the low hanging fruit of agendas from politicians, and it was the two. I mean, I wish I was smart enough to think about this, but she's the one that really led me down that road, which I've done a little bit of research on it, but it is. Politicians, they will always have gun control, and they will always have racism to fight about every election, and they do it, and they continue to do it, and the biased media fosters that because we are so divided on both. Really.
Yeah, and then also once they change things, you have to then change the bar, because when we passed gay marriage nationally, that issue kind of went away, and then it went on to this whole transgender thing, and then it always has to be something more. Like we do allow gays in the military now, and then it had to be, well, what if they want to transition?
What if they want to
to a different gender while in the military? And these are actually arguments that I thought were ridiculous years ago, but sure enough, they're pushing for things that a lot of people said that I didn't think was true.
Well, if we don't have something to argue about, then we don't have the politicians have nothing to stand on, because they don't. No politician anymore, even when they're doing their debates, it's the blame fingers. It's not, hey, look what we've doing for the country. Look how we're doing. Look what we can do to work together. It's, what did you do wrong? What did you do wrong? It's your fault for her. It's your default for her. The last debate with Trump and Biden, I actually did watch a little bit. I was like, are you kidding me? This is the best we got. I got one guy screaming at him, the other guy saying, "Hey man, just shut up." I'm like, are you really? These are our candidates here. And
then 4 years ago, Hillary, I think Hillary was even worse than Biden personally.
And it was like thought I was watching a Real Genius movie with the one-liners in there with them just crapping on each other. It's like, are you kidding me, guys? So.
And the thing is, look, I'll be honest. Trump is very good at that. He's very good at throwing out insults. He makes very funny comments, very witty like that. But is that necessarily what you want in a president and a leader? No. But does it make for entertaining television? Absolutely.
Well, absolutely makes.
And
that's what the election, the last. What did somebody? They said wanted to make a shirt, or somebody made a shirt when Biden said, "Hey, yeah, dude, why don't you just shut up?" Or, "Hey, man, and it was during the debate, and somebody wanted to make a shirt and I was like, really, that's the best thing we can pull out of this debate, was some guy telling one of the candidates telling the other ones just just shut up. That's the best. We're getting down the rabbit hole. What I'm trying to say, guys, is that just don't get wrapped up in this low hanging fruit. Guns in the right hands, and I'll tell you from these hands right here, they do good things. I've protected people. I've saved people. And there are a lot of guys out there, a lot of men and women. You remember, we're in Battleline podcast. Guys is a gender neutral term. Guys. A lot of men that have done great things with a firearm to protect lives. And there are law enforcement officers that are out there every day doing that. But there's also guns, yes, in the wrong hands can hurt and kill people. But even just these fists, that's why I gave the example of Afghanistan, Kabul. Just these can hurt and kill people too. And if you're not seeing me, I'm just putting up my hands and I'm making them into fists. That can hurt and kill people too. It comes down to the person. Laws cannot control.
Yeah, or what Tim McVeigh did. It didn't involve firearms. So, but the gun stuff is a good transition, though, to enthusiasm for guns to Jake Zweig, because he is certainly a guy who knows how to shoot. Before we get to him, though, and by the way, I mean, I'll throw it out. I agree with everything you said, and you know me, dude. I'm not someone who's going to say I agree with you if I don't. I 100% agreed with everything you said.
Me and Ian will disagree all the time. We'll get offline and go, "You mother effer, what the hell are you trying to?" But and that's the beauty, and that's where some of that like the AP stuff. I like you to read that because sometimes it makes me maybe I'm not thinking rightly, and I'll say that on air. So just so people know, hey, maybe I don't have all the information I need. So let's make a better informed decision. And it's okay to even do that on air. So to show people, hey, you can be wrong sometimes and you can still make another decision on it or have more research and then make another decision and be right the next time, or just have an opinion and let's just agree to disagree.
For sure. And I also know that, firearms is your expertise. I listen to you on that because you know what you're talking about. It's what you've done for decades. But with that, Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment all in one place. At Audible, you can find the largest selection of audiobooks ranging from bestsellers and new releases to celebrity memoirs, languages, business, motivation, pretty much everything. Like original entertainment from top celebrity creators and thousands of popular and binge-worthy podcasts like ours, all from one app. And when I heard that the people at Audible are fans of the show, I was like, that's terrific.
I heard that. Dude, that's amazing. These guys do awesome stuff. Awesome group over there.
So I'll throw out there, I especially like a recent book that I read. Andy Biersack from Black Veil Brides put out a book, They Don't Need to Understand. And he did the narration like you did for your book. So you can get that on Audible outside of our wheelhouse. But it was good. That's just the most recent thing I've checked out on there. Any recommendations from you of,
the Ranger Way and the Patriots Creed.
I knew there was going to be a shameless plug.
Since I read for both of my books, guys, it's outstanding. And being somebody that travels and goes to these ranges and drives, music actually puts me to sleep when I listen to somebody talk or I'm in a story and I listen through Audible. It keeps me awake and it also you just. It's cool because you're reliving it in your, even reading, but you're living it in your own head. You're going through the whatever you're listening to, and it's you're putting yourself. At least I am. I put myself in their place. So when if I'm listening to anything about Harry Potter or Narnia, well, guess what? I'm Harry Potter, or I'm going through that closet and going into the world of Narnia. And Audible gives a chance to do that, and it really helps out with a lot of veterans out there that don't have the patience to sit and read. But they'll get an Audible and they'll get an audio book or something and they'll listen to it and they're like, man, and I get a lot of that from the Ranger Way. Like, I don't have the patience to read, but I listened to your book on your audio book, and whether it was Audible they got it from, and they said, man, it was outstanding. So thanks for letting you reading it with your own voice, doing your own reads. And that was you on there. So Audible, outstanding job, guys. You guys help veterans immensely throughout the country every day. Even if you don't know it, you do. I'm telling you right now.
For sure. And a lot of like truckers who have long commutes, that type of thing. It just makes sense. So with Audible, you can always find the perfect title for whatever you're doing, wherever you're going, or whatever you're feeling. Audible allows you to find audiobooks that will inspire, delight, help, or simply entertain you. With Audible, you can listen while working from home, cooking, exercising, on a walk, as a family activity, or just relaxing. And now with the new Plus catalog, an Audible membership is so much more valuable as it gives all members a chance to listen to and discover new favorites and new formats, like the exclusive Words Plus music series or a podcast you never considered before. With the free Audible app on your smartphone or tablet, you can download titles and listen offline anytime, anywhere. Audible can help people with their own personal goals, whether they want to learn something new, get more books in their life while doing other things, focus on mind, body, and wellness, or simply enjoy a well-deserved diversion. You can set your own goals and let Audible help you reach them. New members can always try Audible for free for 30 days, so you have nothing to lose. So join us on Audible. you will always be able to find the perfect title for you. Simply visit battlelinepodcast.com/audible. That link will also be in the description. battlelinepodcast.com/AUDIBLE. Once again, battlelinepodcast.com/audible. So joining us for the first time on the podcast is Jake Zweig. I mean, who I've talked to a lot for probably the past 8 years. And it's crazy because I've never actually met you in person, but I do feel like you're a friend of mine and that we've spoken quite a lot over the years. And before we get into your background as a Navy SEAL, what you're currently up to, I just personally wanted to know, and I mean, this says something about you, is the last time we spoke, there was a woman who was a fan of the show that you were on, Dude, You're Screwed, with Terry Shepard and other special ops veterans on the Discovery Channel. And you were saying she wasn't looking for a handout, but she was at hard times, just needed a car to get to and from work, so she didn't need to use the bus. And you helped raise some money, gave her some of your own money. What's the update on that?
So she's doing okay, man. She's still in Iowa, in Bettendorf, and so it's hard, man. I don't think the environment she's in is very conducive to her doing well. She's struggling to pass algebra, so she got to pass college level algebra to get her AA degree, so she can get her nursing degree. But I mean, shoot, the van's still running. She rear-ended somebody. I happened to be on a bye week, so I went over there and fixed the whole van for like $300. So she still got transportation. You know, she's still doing good. I think, you know, she's one of the people on my list of people that when I get this new endeavor started, we'll probably move her down to San Antonio with us and get her a full-time tutor to pass algebra. Because, I mean, she's really smart, man. Like, you know, she just got 4 kids before 26.
Wow.
You know, it's hard to get ahead when you got 4 kids and you're 26 years old, don't have your education lined up. You know, but she's smart as a whip, man. Like, she needed to get out of the environment that she was raised in over there in Bettendorf and, you know, get back on her. She's doing good, man. You know, she saved a bunch of money for the first time in her life. Like, so positive, you know, not as good as I want it to be. I got a dude, Jason, here in town who does a lot of that stuff. And he said, man, it's really hard, Jake. And so my next step is just to give her a bunch of resources, put her in a house, let her go to college full time. I mean, I told you this when I was raising the money. She lives off of $1,400 a month.
Wow.
So like 4 kids, $1,400 a month. Like, she's a rock star. So like, she don't buy a bunch of crazy stuff. She's not materialistic. She just, you know, she need a little bit of help over the hump. And once we get her nursing degree, she's been making $12, $15 an hour working as a night attendant just to get through. And then, like, I mean, I'm telling you this, man, like, since I've known her, she sleep about 2 hours a day. She worked 12 hours a night. She put the kids in bed at 8. She got a 12-year-old that watches the kids. She goes to work. And then, you know, she gets done and she gets home about 7, gets them ready for school. And then she goes to school from 8 to 12. And then she sleeps in the afternoon a little bit. And then the kids get home at 3 and she right back on the same pattern, you know. So, you know, it is what it is. It ain't as good as I want it to be, but I ain't done with her yet either. So
is there a place like if you have something set up and we could post it on the Battleline page that people make even a GoFundMe or something where people could help out if it felt like it, or is there, you know, got your own thing set up, Jay?
Yeah. So here's what I'm gonna tell you, man. I ain't big on giving poor people money. Okay. I just ain't big. And so, like, if I wanted to raise money, it'd be to move her. Right.
Okay.
Talk about moving back to Tennessee. You know, when I get this next gig set up, I'm not going to need resources so much. It's just more so I don't give poor people money ever. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like don't call me for bills. Don't call me for none of that stuff, because it just enables them to keep doing what they do.
Okay, that makes sense. No,
and I appreciate it. You know, I appreciate it. I got Ian on speed dial. So next time, like, if I need to raise some money to move her down to Texas with us or whatever, you know, that's a possibility. But I'm also, I ain't real big on raising money on shit that I can do myself. You know,
but you did raise money originally just for, you know, these expenses that to basically make her so she was able to transport from to and from work. And and the reason I bring it up too, I mean, it's been ages since we spoke about it, but I think it just says a lot about you as a person that someone came up to you and was a fan of your show, on hard times. And you told me, you were like, I don't want to give this woman a handout, but I just want to make it so that she could do well on her own.
Yeah, because I mean, like it's impossible to be able to function without a car and 4 kids, and you need to work.
Yeah.
Right. You have no chance to get out of that hole. I don't care. She was riding a bus with 4 kids to work. Like, it was just a nightmare.
Wow.
And you know, like, I think we raised about $5,000 on GoFundMe. I put in about $1,500, $2,000. She owes me $800 still. I ain't worried about that. So, you know, in the beginning, like, and it worked, man. She got a job. Like she had at one point, she had like $3,000-$4,000 in her bank account. Like, she had saved a lot of money, and then, you know, like, she's in the hospital right now, but she was 2 weeks ago. But that's life, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's like, my wife was in the hospital 2 weeks ago. I know my world ain't falling down around me. So, you know, she's grown a lot, Manny, and I appreciate you asking. You know, we'll get her there. If I had, you know, she's doing good. We just got to get her. The Bettendorf environment, man, is super repressive. So
that's tough. And you're right. I with the enabling, man. I mean, given opportunities to get out of the hole and work your way out, and that's a lot more satisfying than just say, here's some money. And so I know. Go ahead. Go ahead, bro. Because I agree with you.
Like I don't help people financially. I don't. Right. Like, my own family don't get no help. You know, like, I tell everybody, I'm going to give you one bit of money. Like, my brother called me about his house payment. He passed in 2004, but this is like 98. I was doing good. I was the SEAL teams making a ton of money. And he was like, hey, man, can you help me out on the house payment? I said, hey, man, here's the deal. You get one house payment.
Yeah.
That's it. You get one. Don't call me again. And so he ended up getting foreclosed on. That ain't my problem.
But right? That's tough love. I did that with my sister. I did that with her, and here I go, me spreading my sister's dirty laundry again. But it's right. It is. It's like, hey, I did. You got one try. That's it, and then you got to get yourself out, because it does. Then you rely on that handout. My grandfather always told me, you don't take handouts. We don't take handouts, and he was a legal immigrant. Came over, got a citizenship, but it's like, we don't take handouts. We work our asses off. And I agree with you on that. I know we like to offer, because we're here, we're veteran. I'm a veteran, you're a veteran. So I say, hey, man, if you got something and you vetted it, yeah, we'll help you out. But what you said, I resonate with that too. I agree with you.
Absolutely, brother. And I grew up in a damn food bank. So my grandmother volunteered in the food bank.
Yeah, wow.
And I would watch my grandmother dress people down to the ground, right? Like, so in the food bank, it was this little room. I don't even know. It was in the back of a building, and she had a key. She'd open the key. She'd hang the sign up, open, and then you'd walk in like in a U, and you had a bag, and she would walk with you. She'd say, "I get 2 cans of that, get 2 cans of this, get 2 cans of that." And it was amazing. Like, the ladies would be like, "Oh, no, we don't eat beans." She said, "Oh, you must not be that hungry.
Yeah,
can you here? Let's put all your stuff back, right?"
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, well, I don't understand why I just can't take 2 of those. She said, because you don't run the food bank.
Yeah.
And if they said it again, she'd be like, excuse me, can I please have the bag back? And they'd look at her kind of funny, and she'd take the bag back. She'd put all the stuff back on the shelf, and she said, thank you. You can come back tomorrow.
Wow, that's all.
And if they would try to get nasty, she like, my grandmother was a little pistol, man. She'd be like, look, you don't want me to call the police, because I will call the police right now. The police, matter of fact, the police are right around the corner. They'll be here in 2 seconds, because I've had to call them on people before, just like you. So you're obviously not that hungry. Get out. And here I am. I'm eating the 3-day-old donuts. Like, there'd be boxes of donuts, but they'd be like 3 or 4 days old, stale as hell. I'd be like, damn, Grandma, I'm eating these donuts.
These are good.
Yeah, she'd be like, you can eat all the donuts you want, Jake.
Man, I haven't heard that since my abuela, my grandma passed. That you must not be that hungry. When you said that brought her voice back in my head. You don't want to eat what's in front of you. You must not be that hungry. Yep. Take it away from me. That's we got away from that. That's, people need that. They need that tough love. Get your shit together.
Man, this whole generation, like, I'm gonna say for the last 15 years, these cats are living in la la land. And there's 2 things to blame, man: Twitter and Instagram, man. Those two things, social media, but really Instagram. Like, people see the image, and they try to live the image and they don't understand the life, right? Like,
everybody can be a rock star. Everybody can be their own star without having to work at it, without having to put the time in.
I want to like I've been real down. Like I'm not a big breast implant guy, right? Like I just not like I want real shit, right? And so now you're seeing these hip implants, right? Like
what the hell? No, I haven't seen that.
It came up from Brazil. Hip and butt implants. Okay, so they get these butt implants, and they had these ridiculous butts and little tiny waists, and I'm just like, or the puffy lips, right?
Oh, what's that? Silicone? No, what is that?
It's they're lip injections, but it's funny because I know some girls into the whole plastic surgery thing. What is it? I don't know. It's not Botox. I know people always say Botox, but it's not. But obviously, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. It's rampant.
You got all these people, right? And you can see they got all this work done to their butt, their face. You know, they got their everything is all jacked up, and you're sitting there. You're like, come on, man, like. And then you look, they got 1,200 followers. And it's talking about instant social media influence.
And you're an influencer. We got that all the time too. Somebody says influencer. Like what the hell is an influencer? What the? I was like, that does that mean that you don't you're almost there? I don't get it. Ian brought that on when he started calling an influencer. And I can't stand that word. But I
mean like you an influencer, right? Like I'm an influencer. Okay. I'm a big time influencer. In a real small category, like people that are successfully trying to be Navy SEALs, pilots, stuff to do with the military, or they just want to be really successful. But like my niche is really, really small. But I influence the shit out of those. Like
that just means you're a hard worker. That means you're a hard worker. There's no that's
yeah.
I was like, no, man, he ain't an influencer. He's an example. He's an example of how to be successful if you want to go that route and then be an entrepreneur, which again, that's not an influencer. That's a hard worker.
That's a hustler.
That's a hustler. Yeah. It is. And
with that though, if I could get into it, we should get into Jake's actual background.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Talking about who you are influencing. Yeah. So, I mean, as I said, Jake is a Navy SEAL, former Navy, shouldn't say former. I know you don't say former. A retired Navy SEAL, but also current director of man development for the football program at the University of Illinois. Still, right?
No, I'm out, bruh.
Okay.
They fired Lovey, so now the world got to be careful, bruh.
Wait. Lovey Smith has gone from Illinois?
Yeah. He got fired. He's now the defensive coordinator down to Houston, Texas.
Well, the reason I said current is I still see it on the website, so they haven't taken it down. But I know the main thing that you're doing now is this creator of Masterclass for SEALs. And the videos that I love that you put up, the difference between you and a lot of the other guys out there is you are not the guy who says you're going to make it, you're going to be a Navy SEAL. You say flat out, most of you, look at the statistics, are not going to make it.
So it's interesting, Ian. Like, it's funny, man. So I mean, I'm not in competition because I have incredible success, right? So there's a bunch of people out there selling all these workout programs, but they literally are marketing to the masses. Like that's how they feeding their family. And so I thought, like, I'm gonna build this masterclass so that I can stop answering all these dumbass questions. Really, that was the premise. Like, okay, yeah, we'll make a lot of money, okay. But then as soon as I made it, I'm like, I can't sell it for what it's worth, right? Like, honestly, I should be selling it for $5,000. That's what it should be, 4 or 5 sales a year. Let's say 20 sales a year, $200,000, right? Like, the math is messed up, but whatever. Okay. So I should be able to do that. But then it defeats the whole purpose of being able to spread goodness to the universe, right? Like, so I had a website guy come in. He redid my whole website. We've been selling now, but I still
Which is jakeswig.com.
Yeah, jakeswig.com. I still ain't paid for the video dudes yet, right? My editor, he had an editor finish the last 2. I still ain't paid them dudes yet, right? Like, so my point is now, though, the masterclass is just more so of a function to be able to get people to understand really what you need to know. But back to your point, Ian, like, dude, like everybody else there is selling hope. I don't sell hope, okay? I sell the truth. No, you have no chance. Like the one I just posted the other day, you had no chance to make it if you are consumed with self-doubt and fear. Okay, you can't make it. It's not possible. Because the people that make it are the most optimistic SOBs in the country.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Yeah. You're on.
So don't come to me talking about, Jake, I need some help with some ideas to help me overcome my self-doubt and my fear of SEAL training. Well, but you came to the wrong one.
You've already lost. You already quit. I mean, shit. Yeah,
you came to the wrong person. Like, you wasting my time, right? But that's the whole thing, Ian. Like you saying, everybody else is like, well, let me help you. Hey, Joe, I think you have a chance. Let's get you into this development program and see if we can't build you up a little bit. No, I'm like, man, listen, I don't have time for the average people, because the average people take chi from me, and I don't let nobody take my chi. You know, I got a 7th grader who's now in 9th grade who's a savage. Okay, kid's gonna be a rock star. I got a young lady up at MIT, 4.0, want to be a Navy SEAL. I don't know if she's gonna be a Navy SEAL. She's gonna be a rock star. Every time I talk to them, oh yeah, let's go. What do I need to do? Boom, give them, boom, they're done. Right? Overperformance every time I talk to them. So why would I talk to a bunch of guys that are like, oh man, I'm really depressed. I need help. Can you help me dig out of this hole? Nah, man, go call somebody else, because I don't work with average people. Like, and everybody kind of bang on me for it, but I'm like, look, man, this shit free. I do what I want to do. You ain't paying my bill. You want me to talk to average people? Send me a check for $1 million. I'll stop talking to average.
I don't see that banging on people. That's realism of it. Hey, you want to make it? Here's drop them 10 miles out. That's how you're gonna get your mind improved. I'm gonna drop you 10 miles out. You run back to me. If you make it, then maybe you got something. Maybe you can do it. If you can't make it, don't even try it. Then let's go find something else to do.
Yeah, and I shortened up the process. Right? I used to be, I give you 2 or 3 months to kind of flounder around.
Yeah.
Now you get one session, bro. Like I got a young lady I'm working with in Rhode Island. I gave her a list of like 20 things to do. She came back with 18 of them done. I had to set the tone. Hey, listen, man, you didn't do 2 things I told you to do. If we have another conversation like this, there won't be any more conversations. Oh, okay, I got it. But she'll get up to speed, right? Because it used to be 6 months, no change, no difference. 6 months later, you got the same shithead. You got the same average ass person. So, but yeah, we light fire to that, Ian. We're just killing that. And it's gonna work.
It does. And it is a realism. I don't see. I don't see that as being negative. I just say, hey, this is the truth. Either you can do it or you can't, or you do that opposite effect where you're busting their balls, and they does light a fire. Like, all right, and that's how I was. Like, somebody would say bad to something to me. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna prove your ass wrong. You want to talk shit to me? Fine, I'll step my game up, and I'm gonna prove. But that's honestly, that's the community too, though. That's the special. That's how the community is.
Hey, like,
there's no shorts. If you don't pass something, oh well, you didn't pass everything, but I'm still gonna get you. You're still gonna get your trident. No, that shit doesn't work.
It ain't working that way.
It doesn't work that way. Just like going and getting your scroll. Okay, you didn't pass the ruck march. You didn't finish in the time allotted. Oh, but you're fine. We're still gonna get you your scroll. Go ahead and go to 75th. No. Bam, see ya. You're
like my 2nd Ranger bat tab I got in my go box. I got a couple of knack boxes full of equipment, and so I bought 2nd Ranger bat tabs. 3rd grade, maybe.
Did you?
Yeah. I got 2nd Ranger bat tabs in there. I was supposed to go to Ranger school, and literally, like, the biggest thing I didn't accomplish in the SEAL teams was not making it to Ranger school, because I tore my hamstring right before I was supposed to go. I was so pissed, bro. I was so pissed because I was jacked about going to Ranger school, man.
And that's something where if you do have an injury, you don't do it, because guys have come in. We've had Marines come in through pre-Ranger, where they come in through upper Ranger and go to with injuries. No, they fuck themselves up worse, and then they don't make it because they get medicaled out. So
you know how that is, bro. You can't be holding up the train.
No, it don't wait for it. That's the machine keeps rolling. It doesn't make a difference.
I'm pissed. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
No. I like where because like I'm on the same wavelength as you are. When I went through Green to Gold and I'm idiot. I did it. I became an officer. Sorry, I did. Don't hate me for it. But damn, I would teach the cadets because I was leaving Range Battalion. I had my tab already.
Yep.
And I remember they had me running the cadets on PT in the morning because they weren't getting pushed hard enough. And I just would see them not, and I wasn't nice to them. I wasn't friendly with them. I smoked the shit out of them. And if they made it, they made it. If they didn't, a lot of them quit and they quit the program. But I agree with that. You got to push hard to get to that level. You can't get to that level if you're working down here.
So it's crazy, right? Like when you think about it, and I tell people this, and you understand this. Everybody talks about SEAL training, like, oh my God, SEAL training. And there's so much hype around this shit now, it's astronomical, right? Oh my God, CAG selection or RAS 2. Oh my God, like I'm going to AFAS. Oh my God, I'm going to be Jacques Cousteau and dive 200,000 feet. I'm going to be, and so you're like, come on, man.
Go out.
And then you hit them with the reality. You do understand that that's kindergarten.
Yeah.
What? Well, what do you mean? It's kindergarten. Okay. SEAL training is kindergarten. Like Jocko talks about all the time. He said, I don't talk about SEAL training because it's not the SEAL teams, right?
Yeah.
And I say it a different way. I'm just like, look, man, if you are concerned about SEAL training, do not show up. Do not try to go. Do not go because it's kindergarten.
That's just to get in. That's just to get the door into the shit when it starts to get hard. That's just your in.
And I tell people like, did Buds suck really bad for me? Yeah, because I showed up 100% out of shape.
No.
Hadn't worked out in 7 months. Okay.
How is that possible?
I'm just built different, Ian. Built different, right? Like I was on the ship and so here's what's messed up. The spring of that year, so I reported to Buzz in October. Okay, in spring of that year, I was wrestling on the all Navy wrestling team. I might have been in the best shape, not quite the best shape of my life, but I was in phenomenal shape. Okay, I came back to the command. I was 180, running like 10 miles a day. I was just ready, and I said to my commanding officer, "Ma'am, if I go to Buzz right now, I'll be the Army. Like I will shit stomp Buzz unbelievably." She was like, I'm not letting you go. You got 6 more months on the ship. Tough shit. Deal with it. Okay. So I'm like, all right. So I go to play in this golf tournament and I throw my back out. And literally for the next 3 months, I can't tie my shoes. Like I can't move. So for 3 months, I'm in Limdu. I'm going around to all the buildings at Norfolk, measuring them for square footage to make sure they fit with the fire plan. And I'm walking around in untied shoes. Okay. I drive to work like this in my car, leaned over because I can't sit up straight. So I drive. And so I'm jacked up for 3 months. So then I get off Limdu. They give me some shots. I get some epidural steroid shots.
Ow.
And I come off Limdu and I go back to my ship. But we got a new captain now. And dude is a complete loser. Like he sucks, right? He's awful. So he's like, you ain't going nowhere. I'm not letting you get off this ship October 1st. All right, whatever. So we had a bunch of underways. So I get off the ship. Let's call it October 15th. I check off the ship. And I sold my house already. No. I was renting my house out in Virginia Beach. So I'm living with my dude in Hampton. And I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to start training. Yeah. I got 3 months. I don't have to report the Buzz until January. I got 3 months to get in shape. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to train. So I get up the first day. I go for a run. It's rainy. It's like, probably 50 degrees. I run 2 miles. I'm like, holy shit. So I come back to the house and I'm like, all right, it's time to go swim now.
Oh.
So I go to I don't know why I didn't go to the base gym right there at the Air Force Base, but I went to I bought a Bally's membership. They had like a 15-yard pool. Like no lie. Kick off the wall, you at the other one. So I didn't want to drive to Norfolk because it was like a 40-minute drive, right? So I'm like, all right. So I swim on Monday. So I run 2 miles, I swim on Monday. Tuesday, I get up, it's pouring down rain, freezing. I'm like, yo, man, I ain't running. So I'm just at my dude's house, right? He's a lieutenant commander, a lieutenant in the Navy. So he ain't there. So I'm just there. I'm kind of like, sitting there. So Wednesday comes, I'm like, all right, man, Wednesday, another 3-mile run. I'm supposed to be doing night runs too, but so far I've got a 2-mile run. So Wednesday gets there, I bang this 2-mile run, and I'm like, man. So I go to the gym, I get in the water, and I kick off the wall, and I'm like, this ain't working, man. This is not an effective training regimen right here. So I'm like, go back to the house Thursday, I wake up, and I'm like, man, I'm not feeling this environment. It's not gonna work, man. Like, all right, well, okay. So I called Margaret. She's our community manager for SEALs. I said, hey, Margaret, can I go to Buzz? She's like, are you in shape? I said, no, I'm not. I'm not in shape at all. She said, what are you talking about? You got to be in shape to go out there. She's an old, crusty lady, been in charge of community for 50 years. She's a savage.
Wow.
She's like, what are you talking about? I said, man, listen, I'm just sitting here in fucking this house in Norfolk. It sucks. I'm not doing nothing. I've worked out 3 times in this week. I'm supposed to be working out like 15 times. Can I go to Buzz? She's like, yeah, Jake, like, you can just show up. Just give them your orders. I know they say report in January, but you have until January to report. If you want to go tomorrow, you can go. I'm like, all right, cool. That was Thursday evening. Thursday afternoon, packed up my little Toyota pickup truck with my worldly belongings to go to Buzz. And my house was in storage already. My boy got home. I said, hey, Bud, I'm going to Buzz. He's like, what? You ain't done nothing. I said, yeah, I'll be all right. Screw it. I got in my truck. I drove to my aunt's house in St. Louis on Friday, like 20-hour drive from Virginia Beach to St. Louis. And then Saturday, I got up early, hit the road. Sunday night, I got to SEAL training, and we lived in the barracks. I reported on board. Like Monday, no, I wasn't. I had to go to supply and get my issue. Yeah. So Tuesday, we had a 4-mile time run. And you talk about epic experiences. I just told you now, in the last 7 months, I had ran 4 miles
total. Yeah.
Total. Okay. I start off on this 4-mile run. I said, holy Jesus. Okay. It's 95 degrees in San Diego, late October. Oh God. So I turn around at the turnaround, and passing time is 32 minutes, right? I said, man, I just got to finish. Like, let me just finish this run. So I had heat stroke one time before that. So I knew what it felt like, right? So I'm about a half mile from the finish line, and I start seeing the everything just start wavy, right? I'm like, dude, you can't pass out your first day of SEAL training. They will kick you out, okay? So I'm like, oh God. So I get to the finish line. 38:50, 4 mile. Okay.
Man.
And this is where it gets good now. I immediately turn right and run into the surf zone and get out about 50 yards where I'm just literally my whole body underwater and I'm hiding. And the instructors are like, what are you doing? Get out here. I'm like, nope. No. Gotta wait for this heat stroke to go away. And so I sat out there for like 35 minutes, got my core temperature back down. I came out, they yelling at me and screaming at me, right? And I'm like, all right, what we got next? So then, like, I say it like this, man. I was in a class, I was fortunate. There was 2 football players that I played with because I went 2 years afterwards. I had to go drive ships for 2 years. So 2 linebackers behind me in football were in my class, Clint Bruce and Tom Rhino. They were awesome. So there was another dude in our class named Ryan Angle. He came up to me. He said, Bud, what are you doing, man? I said, listen, man, this is the out of shape plan. It wasn't a real good idea. So they were, after like 12 hours of training, I had to ride the bike with Clint Bruce because Clint Bruce had just came from the NFL. He big fat dude too. So we riding the bike like intervals. They killing us for 45 minutes after training. Then Ryan Angles is like, look, we got to run time trees at night, man. You're not going to make it. So I'm going out at night, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm running 3-mile time trees.
Yeah.
Like, and so literally like those first really those first 3 months, because we didn't class up until January, but you had ramp up. I was good in the pool. Like I was probably the third fastest swimmer in the pool. So like I didn't get hurt too bad swimming wise. But yeah, Ian, it was not a good look, bro. And I'm gonna say this, like I have made a living on doing stuff that other people couldn't do because I got a reservoir of hard work that is unlimited. So like for me to be able to show up out of shape and be able to pull graduating from SEAL training out of my rear end is more so just me like doing all of that extra stuff I had to do when I got there out of shape to get in shape. And like I wouldn't let any of my guys go like that now. Like I wouldn't do that. But I didn't have no mentorship. I didn't really know what I was getting into. I didn't know there was 3 phases. I knew nothing about buds other than it was really hard. And they had just graduated a class of 86 people. And I was like, oh, it must be easy now.
Yeah, listen to this. I think you should, and you probably are. You should do the if you're out of shape, you're fat, you lifestyle. Hey, come do the buds training that I learned, and you just like I said, you just drop them at a 4-mile run and say go, just go, and you just start from there.
But the problem you got these days,
I know,
you got all these girls, right, that are dressed as men who fall over after 500 yards and then try to sue you, right? Like it's your fault. It's your fault. Like, but I just asked you to run 4 miles.
I just asked you to run.
Yeah, like I got a big ass warning on my PDF. I'll send you my PDF. There's a big ass warning at the top. This is not a beginner's program. If you ain't running 25 miles a week, do not sign up for this. Don't start.
Yep.
You know, I got kids talking about I got shin splints, I got stress fractures. How far were you running? Well, I've never ran before. Hey, bud, did you see the red writing on the first page? Right? Like, no, this is an advanced training course. Then I have a kid that called me last night. He running an 8:30, swam at 8:20, been on my program for 8 weeks. He's Division I baseball program. I said that's what I'm talking about. We don't need no 10-week program. You know, I'm sorry, not 10 weeks, but you know, I'm sure you get this a lot, right? You got guys talking about, I'm gonna prepare for Ranger school for 2 years.
Yeah. No, they ask me all. Hey, what can I do to prepare? What can I do to prepare? I tell them. I said, you don't have to do any of that fancy stuff. Get a rucksack, fill it with 35 pounds just to start running with that thing. Get some jungle boots, not those high techs, not those cool boots. Get something that you can get your feet all messed up on because you got to tighten them up. You got to make your feet tough. Get some jungle boots. Go to the local surplus store. Go buy a pair. Start running with that thing. Then you got to start running. Running is the biggest gut check in the world aside when you put a tick on your back because you're out there by yourself. You're playing mental games with yourself. When you're doing CrossFit and all that other stuff, you're with people. I'm not saying it's not hard, but you got to be out there on your own where your mind's fucking with itself.
Give me that. You got to. Motherfuckers don't like the truth.
No,
they don't like the truth.
And you have to overcome your own mental. And I played football too in college, and that's where I got my stuff from. Was doing Man, I heard they don't do 2-a-days anymore. I'm like, holy shit, we did 3-a-days because it was so hot outside of Las Vegas. We were doing, and now they don't, and doing 100 up downs or burpees, whatever we're going to call them, before you start practice. Like, where does this mental toughness? Where did it go? Where are we? And it just applies to the special ops community as well. It's all up here, man.
It went to the helicopter parents, man. That's what it went. I would like you to know I did 1,500 8-count bodybuilders at one time.
And that's hard. That's a lot.
And it was a big FU. It was me and the Matt as senior chief going at it. He's trying to get me to quit. And I told him, hey, man, 500 ain't nothing, bud. And then after the 1,500, I looked at him and I just left because I didn't want to do no more. It's like 3 hours and 45 minutes of 8 counts.
And that's right. And it really in your head. I remember what stuff doing. Man, I Sergeant Strucker was my rep cadre. When I went through rep, I was very blessed. I didn't know who he was at the time. Strucker is a small event. I mean, the dude he's a chaplain now, but the dude was Satan when I went through Ranger. And dude, I remember trying to run a 5-minute mile with that. just seeing everybody fall out of this run and thinking, how the hell am I going to make this? I didn't fall out though. I stayed. There were 6 of us that stayed up top, and
You talking about the initial 5 miles?
The initial one. It was you get on PT. They already came through. It's just like, I mean, they're all the same. You know, it's just like, but they come through throwing trash cans around, waking you. Oh, get up, and then you get out there PT, and you're like, let's go, and you don't know what's coming. You have no clue, and you just take off. And I'm like, holy shit, thinking, how am I going to make this? I ain't quitting. I'm either going to die, but I'm not quitting.
When was that? What year?
95.
Okay,
1995.
we will start at the same time, right? Back in 95, I tell people, I didn't know nothing about buds. I had heard about Hell Week. I knew there was some dive training.
And this is pre-internet, of course. So
my orders said demolition, jump, and dive. So I assumed we were going to do some of that. Okay, I had read a bunch of books, but back then there wasn't a bunch of books.
There wasn't,
buds,
yeah.
Right?
There wasn't.
Like they would just skip over the buds part. Like buds was really hard. Okay, boom. But you didn't have no clue. But back to your point, I want to make sure we hit this. So you talked about being in your own head, right? And so I am working on for our standpoint, right? The 3 of us, I am working on a fucking lottery ticket project right now. Okay. Literally, if we get this, it's going to be a lottery ticket, okay? And it's going to be a lottery ticket in a bunch of different avenues, success and helping people and just all this stuff, okay? But the one thing that it's made me do since July of last year, it's made me dig super deep into why am I being so successful mentoring these young people in some of the hardest environments in that we have to offer, right? Medical school, SEAL training, aviation pipeline. You know, we're getting ready to have a black submarine commander. My dude takes CEO of a ship here in 3 weeks, okay? We got the CEO of another boat. How are we doing this? And when I sat back and I looked at it, I said, I know the process. I know the process from start to finish. When I get you day 1 to when you graduate, report to your SEAL team, okay? And you know what I came up with? Everybody wants to work out in groups. Everybody hits me up. Hey, I need a buddy. Partner, that ain't how this program works.
No.
And one of the biggest things that I've said has been our defining factor of success is you're in solitude with your fucking self. You have to work out your own self on that. Like right now, I got a kid getting ready for AFAS, right?
Wow. Okay.
He's doing 12-mile runs out.
That's it.
And 12-mile rucks back. Okay. And he's a great young man. He's going to be phenomenal coming out of logistics. And dude, he's just eating. And my 2 Green Berets were like, get him on them grippers. Like, so now I'm about to call him up. Like I just talked to my warrant officer, Green Beret, Army Ranger from 2nd Bat. And he was like, Jake, get him some ammo cans.
Yeah.
And tell him, how much weight would you put in the ammo cans?
Yeah, I would fill that thing up to the top with 7.62 rounds. So what would that be? 20 pounds? Maybe
that's a lot more than 20, bro.
Is it a lot more than that? But that's what we filled up, or the 5-gallon jugs. We'd get the 5-gallon jugs, and I'd use those and fill those at the top. So it's close to 30. I want to say, I may be selling it short, but maybe it's 30 pounds. I might be short, dude.
Yeah, because 100 rounds of 7.62 is 7 pounds.
Well, I know,
you're easily getting 500 rounds of 7.62.
When we were doing our competitions every week, it was filled up. Those were filled up, and I mean towards the end, and that's what we'd be running with 2 of them around.
No, I'm totally asking for advice here, totally, because I don't. What I don't want to do is short my dude.
Got you. Is he just starting doing them? Is he
no,
just starting to get
he's
them?
Been grinding. I've had him for 3 months. He's been grinding like we took him off the bullshit ass program he was on, and we put him on the light speed program that
Are you having him run, or are you having him like do hills and stuff with them? What are you having him do?
He's doing everything, man. We got him on, like when he goes rucks, he in the woods rucking. We got him land naving. He's going to go down there to where they hold AFAS in North Carolina.
Yeah.
He's going to walk it. It's real sandy, I heard. So
no, it's shit.
yeah. But my warrant officer dude said make sure he because what
got
warrant officer said was he carries those on the rucks, like the 15-mile rucks. He carries those 2 ammo cans the whole time. So the warrant officer said about 5 to 10 pounds of ammo can.
I would say just simulate what a 240 Bravo weighs and get that total in it, because that's essentially what he's going to have to do at the worst possible time is carry a 240 Bravo with a ruck through all that sand. And he's got the grip here, so he's going to get the strong grip. I know you're simulating because you got a strap on and all that shit with the 240.
I ain't worried about it.
But still, that's the weight. That's the weight that you want. So yeah, I'd say 15. I think 10's too short. I'd say 15 pounds each can, because what's a 240 weigh when it's got a belt on it? 240 is pretty heavy.
That's 240 is like 24 pounds.
Yeah, 24, and that's with
31 pounds.
And that's without the ammo.
It's, by the way,
with the 100 rounds, it's 31 pounds.
So I say 15 in each hand, and that's what I would do, and that's what I had done to me. But they used 5 gallon water jugs. In both.
Yeah, my dude just told me get some ammo.
Yeah, so, do that. They're short.
Like if we get this lottery ticket, the first thing I'm doing is I'm gonna go down and what do you call it? Not observe. What do you do? What was it called when you take a class? A class for no credit. You just
you're an observer. You're
but you're in a class. You're just not taking it for credit. What's it called? You got all these rocket scientists on this.
I know this master's degree is paying for itself today.
Damn, I can't think of it.
Anyway, I can't think of it either. When you go,
so I'm gonna go and just I want to go through the whole Green Beret, right? I want to go through Ranger School, walk the whole thing, and just be like, okay. Because if I got to make a bunch of dudes, I got to be able to understand it. Now, I will say this. My 2 dudes that went to Ranger School last year, shit stomped Ranger School. Shit stomped, okay?
Good.
And I just had, we got them on the program, but I got this new grip thing for Green Beret because I haven't made a Green Beret yet. Okay? I got 3 or 4 Green Berets. I got 2 dudes in the pipeline right now with AFAS coming up in June, but I ain't made one yet. But I know once I get them through the selection part, the Green Beret part is going to be the same stuff. The SEAL training, same kind of Hayes with the ruck and all that, Robin Sage.
Yeah.
And both of them, they already are talking to my Green Berets. So I don't have to have all the answers. But that was my ammo can question. Just
ammo can 15, dude. 15 on each part, you'll be good to go. And then if you're doing shorter stuff, load it up a little bit heavier. So I think that's great. That's fucking great.
It's awesome hearing what you're up to, and also these Bud stories, because I've actually never heard them from you. I do want to get into something else, because I've heard these stories. Chris hasn't heard them, and there's still stuff I haven't heard, and the audience hasn't. After you were a SEAL, a lot of people do know you from Top Shot, and you were portrayed as a villain on that.
I want to hear them, because a lot of that shit. Yeah, go. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it just seems like from what I've heard from you, there was a lot of selective editing to make you look a certain way, and you have some crazy stories from doing Top Shot. So I'd just love to get into all of that.
Yeah, so let me preface this with, okay, so I have this master plan. I was going to be a football head coach. I was going to get a TV show with it. I had went and talked to Cake Boss. So I know the owners of Cake Boss through another guy. It was a no-brainer, right? You need to recruit. You need to raise money. You need to win football games. Have a TV show. You can beat everybody, okay? This is 2008-9. So Top Shot's on. I'm like, dude, these people can't even fucking shoot, okay? So I send them an email. Black, Navy SEAL, Naval Academy graduate, Division I college football coach. My phone rings 2 minutes later. 2 minutes later, Jake, yeah. Are you available in October? No, we're in football season. Okay. If we get season 2 or season 3, we'll give you a call back. So, all right, cool. Don't think nothing of it. Don't know anything about TV. Don't know how to get into TV. Don't know anything. Okay, so boom. Get a call back. Hey, Jake, we're shooting Top Shot season 2 in May of this year. Can you do it? I've left New Hampshire. Don't have a job. Sure, let's go find out what this TV shit's all about. So it's really bait and switch. Okay, that's the best way to put it. They sitting there.
We don't have video, so he's making a blowjob gesture.
They are gassing you up so big.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm a realist. I buy into the gas a little bit, not fully at all. About 5% I buy into the gas. Okay. So I'm like, all right, cool. So they fly you out. You got to do this shooting competition. Okay. Like there's 50 of you interviewing. So they give me a M14 that's supposedly already sighted in for 200 yards. Okay. Maybe the easiest thing in the world to do. Hit the target from 200 yards with an M14. That's already sighted in. So the backdrop is this bushes. We're in Southern California. And so you can't really see where your round is hitting. There's a spotter. Okay. Not on paper. Can you tell me where the round went? No, can't tell you. I didn't see it. Okay. Fire another round. Not on paper. Can't see it. All right, cool. Let me try the corners, right? Move off the paper.
Yeah.
5 feet to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, nothing. 5 feet to the left. Nothing. Top corner, bottom, nothing. Okay. So long story short, I don't hit the target. I got 5 rounds to get it dialed in, and then I got 10 rounds to shoot this course. I don't hit the target. So I get done, and you got to go to these interviews. So I finished first in the pistol. I finished first in the M4 100-yard course, and I finished second in something else, like the speed shooting with a revolver. Okay. So then they're like, well, we can't select you. I'm like, fuck it. Okay. You couldn't hit the target on the M14. I said, yeah, gun wasn't sighted in. Well, we don't think you good enough. I said, well, you a fucking idiot. Okay. And I didn't realize what I was doing. I was showing them.
Oh, so they're recording this, and they're going to use this for
right?
Yeah, they're going to use this.
Like they want to see how you do with adversity because they want the dude that's going to go completely out of his mind, right? And so but basically I was like, hey man, listen, man, let's stop the bullshit. You know, and I know that the gun was fucked up. Okay. I didn't even think about zeroing the M14 for 100 yards because I know how to do that. I just figured you said it was on target. At some point, I might have figured it out. But you know what? This is my first run in this shit. So y'all got me. Fuck it. I missed all the targets. So the dude was like, you're not upset? And now mind you, wait a minute. There were 2 dudes at the tent screaming, this isn't fair! This isn't fair! And here I am, like I'm talking shit to the dude. Like, hey man, shut up, man. Like, so I was like, look, if you ain't gonna select me, I don't care. I'm gonna go home. So they're like, all right, cool. So boom, I go home. Right, I fly back to New Hampshire. No big deal. They call me a week later. Hey, we're gonna bring you out for the second round of interviews. I said, well, you said I wasn't getting selected. Well, that was just a test. All right, cool. So I come back out.
Just a test.
And like my want to be on TV at this point was about -5 million. Like I just didn't like the idea of going to figure out TV was cool, but it wasn't holding me hostage. Okay. So we're at LAX and we can't leave our rooms. Okay. You're in quarantine basically. Like can't leave your room. So my interview is at like 12 o'clock. I'm like, all right. So I go down to this room. There's 6 people sitting in this panel interview. I come in. They're like, why should I select you?
It's like, you called me.
I'm like, what are you talking about? So this dude tried to get like a little aggressive in the meeting. He goes, hey, man, it's our TV show. I say, hey, bud, man, listen. I'm like, you got the wrong motherfucker in here. You think I'm going to be worried about your fucking TV show, right? And I'm dropping F-bombs in there. So the dude's like, well, I don't think you need to be on this TV show. I'm like, well, fuck you then. Like, I'm good. I don't need to be on your fucking, like, fuck your TV show. This shit is stupid anyway. These motherfuckers can't shoot. So everybody in the room is like starting to look at each other like they're doing this. And I'm like, all right, well, fuck, whatever. Like, I've been in some bad interviews, right? I had a dude try to attack me in an interview before. I had to remind him what was on my resume, right? Like, so It been in some of these interviews where, like, whatever my personality is, sometimes the interviews go south real quick. So it wasn't a new role for me. I wasn't like, oh, this interview is going south. Holy shit! Like, what can I do to save it? Nah, it's like, hey man, shut the fuck up. Like, listen, be quiet. So anyway, I get done. This one dude's in there turned beet red, like he's all messed up, and so they're like, all right, they gave me some other stuff. Like I had psychological tests, and they gave me some stuff, and so I'm sitting in my room and I'm getting ready to leave, right? Like I'm going out. Like I did my interview. I'm not sitting in this room. Yeah. So I go downstairs to the lobby and one of the producers comes and says, what are you doing out of your room? So I'm fucking going for a walk. He goes, you're not allowed to go for a walk. I was like, are you holding me hostage? He's like, no. I said, well, I'm going for a fucking walk, bud. Like, I don't give a fuck about you. I did my interview. I stayed in my room, like you said, all morning. I won't talk to nobody, but I'm going to get me some food and I'm going for a walk. So he was like, oh man, okay. So then I'm out walking and my cell phone rings. Jake, where are you at? Fucking down the street at the little Mexican spot. Give me a burrito. Right? I'm in LA, I'm getting a burrito. So he calls me back. They call me back into the room. Now it's only two dudes. They're like, dude, you are awesome.
So they're setting you up to be the villain of the next. That's what I'm getting at. That's the road I'm seeing you go down. You're going to be the villain of the season 3.
So here's the deal. Knowing TV now, like I walked in there and I was they call it the goose, right? The goose that lays the golden eggs.
Yeah.
That dude right there lays golden eggs. Everything he says we could put on TV. And I didn't know it at the time. I didn't understand any of it. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever, man. Put me on the plane. I'm out of here. So I got on the plane. Like, this is like March. I go home. I'm shooting it up, right? I'm in my yard practicing. I live in New Hampshire. I just roll up my garage. I got a whole shooting range in my driveway. So, get ready. I'm getting ready. So we fly out there, like, and this is the thing no one understands about TV, man. Like, there's no communication with your family, right? There's none. My wife is pregnant for the first time. And so I get out there, and the first 3 days is all the promo stuff. You get makeup, you get wardrobe, like they decking you out to the nines. You like, damn, this shit ain't bad. Okay, they feeding you, all this stuff. So we shooting all these commercials, and they would always place you in a certain position. And I was like, dog, you know how this is, special operations, right? We see through all that shit.
No, you're paying attention to what's going on here. You're paying attention to your surroundings, your situation.
I said, damn, they setting this dude up to win. And so I started watching, and I was like, damn. And so Dustin, who won my season, was always in the front. And if he wasn't in the front, they had Mike Hughes in the front. Okay. And I was like, and they would never let me get towards the front. I was always in the middle, okay, or in the back, okay. So I was like, So now I'm on to them, right? So, boom, we get through with those 3 days of shooting. I get the RPG because they wanted me to have some little pistol and shit. I was like, hey, man, there's a big tray of like fake guns made out of resin. I'm like, give me that RPG. They're like, no, we want you to have this pistol. Right? Take the RPG, ends up working out awesome. So boom, we start this TV show in, and from day one, I knew it was a ruse. I knew the whole thing was bait and switch, man. They yelling at you, like they give you so they don't give you enough food to cause conflict in the house, right?
Oh, okay.
They do all sorts of like head games, but see, I was on to them already. So I was just like, okay.
I'll just go order me a burrito at the Mexican restaurant.
Yeah. So like you weren't allowed to leave the yard. You couldn't go out the front door. You had to stay in the yard. And it was this nice ass house. There was a pool. And so they wouldn't let you in the pool. They had a deck built over the pool. You were not allowed outside the yard. So all this little stuff to increase stress, right? So I thought we were going to get bullets to practice with. Now you get like 5 bullets. They give you a gun, you get like 5 bullets. Okay. So we go to the first competition, and that was probably the only pure competition we had was the initial shootout that we had at the beginning of the show. All the guns worked, like there wasn't no problems. It just was pretty straight up. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. But no one got eliminated. The second people started getting eliminated, oh my God. AK-47s wouldn't fire. 11 light strikes on an AK-47.
Wow.
Something that never happens, right?
That doesn't.
Them dictating a lot of stuff. So anyway, call it the black man syndrome, right? I never got a gun that worked. Okay. So by the second episode, I was like, okay, if we can't win this by shooting, let's just run a psychological profile in the house, run some psyops in this motherfucker, and grind all these people into the ground. Okay. Because I know I'm going to outlast them. So boom, I come back from a second event. They gave us all the BS. They had big argument. Bunch of guys talking about walking off the show. And like they would come in and be like, "You ain't going nowhere." They'd be like, "Yes, sir." I'd be like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna leave when I leave."
Do you think that was staged? The guys on the show, when they're the ones that would I'm gonna walk off the show. Do you think they staged some of that? Do you think those guys were serious?
No. Yeah. Because here's the deal. Like they got used to that. They in it. It's, oh God, I can win. I can win. I'm on TV. Because they would say it to you all the time. You're going to be on TV. You're going to be on TV. You're going to be famous. You're going to be famous. And I'd be over there like this. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You're lying. Because I had seen all this buildup, right?
Yeah.
I had seen all this garbage happen. So after the second episode, we went to something else. And then we kept winning. Right, like we were practicing, and so they painted me out to be a bad guy because I was making my team practice. But if they hadn't messed with the guns, we would have never lost the competition. Sure. It literally would have been 8 people on the blue team and no people on the red team because we literally practiced every day and we got so good and we had contingencies and we did everything that a special operations guy would do that we could fight through that. But when they gave you a gun, it didn't work. You were screwed. Right, like you were just screwed. So we got to the primitive weapons one, and I didn't perform. I'll be honest, I didn't perform. I missed the hatchet. It just sucked. Right, I did. Like I didn't have a good day. I sucked. So we got to the end. They were throwing rocks at the cans, and this was like 4, I think, episode 4. And my dude hit the can hard enough, Dustin did, to put a dent in it. And it didn't move off the ledge. And I told him, I said, man, they screwed that can down. And Dustin's like, no, they didn't. So everybody, they throwing rocks and shit. So as soon as it was over, I ran up there. And the can was glued to the log.
Oh, man.
Glued.
And I assume this was cut out of the show.
Oh, you know it was cut out of the show.
Of course.
They lost. So then we had this new round of everybody quitting. Okay. But I just took the high road. And I told him, I said, listen, here's how this is going to work, okay? If you give me another gun that doesn't work, I'm going to walk off this show. And I guarantee you when I walk off this show, you guys are going to lose. So they were like, okay, I said, I'm just telling you, give me a gun that don't work again, I'm walking off the show. So boom, boom. It was about that time that I got voted to elimination. And they literally voted me into elimination on some just straight, like, you black, you going to elimination. So I moved outside and I'm pissed, right? And I go to elimination and I win. That was the corner shot. That was like episode 3 or 4. But I came back and I said, listen, if you ever vote me into elimination again and it's not on poor performance, I said, I guarantee you I'm killing all of them. Okay. And so I went like I let them know, like, look, I'm a killer. I will murder all of you. Okay. So I move all my stuff. Move all the couches outside and I'm sleeping outside. Okay. I throw all the food in the house away. Every time they brought food and groceries, I put it down the garbage disposal. Every time. So like for 3 days, there wasn't no food. Okay. So then I told everybody, I said, listen, I'm moving outside. And I did it just like this. I'm moving outside. If I catch any of you motherfuckers sleeping, I'm going to cut your fucking throat. And I had this big ass butcher knife, right? I said, I'm going to fucking carve you up. So there was a dude on my show that had really bad PTSD. He started shaking and shit like that. So anyway, long story short, that was about the time, Ian, that you asked about the little metrosexual dude that tried to haze me up about getting in the van, right?
Oh,
so little dude,
okay, yeah, 20. Hey, okay.
Yeah, so little dude was like, get in the van. Who you talking to, man? I told you to get in the fucking van. So I walked over to him. I said, listen, man, if you ever raise your voice or talk to me like that again, I'm going to slap the skin off your face.
Was this one of the guys on the show that was on your team, or just
one of the little PAs, like a 20-year-old?
Okay, yeah.
Little PA, right? Like little PA, okay? So he starts shaking. I said, don't start shaking now, bud. I said, you done kicked the dog. All right. So if you ever open your mouth, you address me as Jake. Will you please get in the van? So, because if not, I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna punch you in the face. Okay, so he all scared. So I'm in the house doing this with the team, with the people on the TV show, and I got all this controversy going on with all these little dudes trying to order you around, right? So I'm sitting in the house, I'm sitting out in my lawn chair, and I built this big ass 15-foot like thing on a TV show. I stacked all these chairs up, and they cut me talking about Genghis Khan to me sitting up on high, so I can watch the traffic go by down below, right? I can see people, but they cut it like I was up there trying to be Genghis Khan on the TV show. Crazy, man. So anyway, they call me. They're like, "Hey, man, we need to talk to you." One of the PAs comes and gets me. "Hey, we need to talk to you." So there was this like pool house where the two women were at, but they went home in the first 2 episodes. But we weren't allowed to go in the pool house. So I go in the pool house, and there's 2 lawyers, the owner of the company, and this other dude. I'm like, okay, cool. Hey, what's going on, guys? So I'm thinking I'm about to get thrown off the show, right? And I had been on the show for maybe 10 days at this point. So I'm just like, oh, cool. All right. So they're like, hey, have you been threatening people? Fuck yeah, I've been threatening people. Oh, have you been threatening our workforce? So, yep, sure have. They were like, the lawyers were like, well, you're not allowed to do that. So let me tell you something. I'll threaten you if you try to talk to me crazy. The lawyers kind of sat back in the chair. So the owner of Pilgrim was there, and he tried to get a little snappy with me. I say, but listen, man, I don't give a shit if you're Jesus Christ. Okay. I will come across this desk and you will remember, do not talk down to me ever. Okay. So then he got all red and he was like, well, you got people quitting here. People are quitting. I said, you should teach these young people how to speak to an older person with some reference. I said, because I know this, if you ever talk down to me, I don't care who you are. I don't care what my situation is. I'm never going to sit here and just take it. So he was like, okay. I said, listen, man. I said, I want to tell you what the dude said to me. So I told him. He was like, he was out of line. I said, okay, thank you. I said, I'm not a slave on your TV show. And I can walk off this TV show anytime I want. I said, I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but you're not going to be talking down to me like I'm a slave on your TV show. So they're like, okay, we got to address this other issue. Like, okay, cool. Did you threaten to kill everybody in the house with a knife? I said, yeah, that was a good one.
So people, they don't get that. That kind of shenanigans happen all the time at the unit. When somebody come back drunk or somebody, it was never taken serious. You would tell so I said it. I'm gonna cut you, dude. You don't.
Yeah,
but it's like, are you really? Oh man! But if you get it, basically, if you get in my face, we're gonna have it. It's just a more aggressive way of saying
it's a fucking special operations colloquialism.
There it is, right there. That's it.
I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face if you fuck that up again.
Yeah.
Okay? And then that's on him to say, let's go out back and handle this, or okay, I'll get that fixed, Jake. Okay, appreciate it. Okay. So anyway, the lawyers are sitting there, and the lawyer goes to me. He says, hey, man, he's like, we can't have you threatening people's lives. I said, well, listen, man, you guys got a rigged TV show. I'm going to win through psychological warfare. Well, we received some complaints from the participants. Oh, really? So we had a couple TSA agents that were former Army dudes, and they knew all about sleep deprivation. So these 2 motherfuckers, well, really one dude was left on the show, went to the fucking producers, and it was cool play on his part, right? Listen, this motherfucker is keeping us in sleep deprivation. Our fine motor skills are decreased by 70% with the first night of lost sleep. And they can go as low as 10% motor skill loss. Like we can be down to 10% after 2 nights of lost sleep. This motherfucker's doing this on purpose because he wants us to be in sleep deprivation when we're shooting. And he goes, it's unsafe. So then they told me, okay, they have to get at least 8 hours of sleep, but we'll let you can torture them if you want to. So I had to sign a bunch of waivers. They made me sign a bunch of waivers that if I killed anybody on the TV, they wouldn't be held liable.
They're liable.
Yeah, it was awesome, bro. So then I just went back full force, man. Like I started wetting everybody's sheets down. Like I just had a pot of water and I just poured all over their sheets. So when they got it, it was soaking wet, and they'd be like, I'm like, and then when I'd set my watch for 12 o'clock, I stopped the shenanigans at 12 o'clock midnight. And we normally got up about 7:30, so I was like, "Fuck it, that's close enough to 8 hours."
That's 8 hours.
These are great stories, and I never heard them. I mean, there's so much more we can get into with dude.
It's like already. Holy shit! I didn't realize it was so.
but like I love your episode where you refuse to eat the fermented shark. But we've talked about that before. But we do have to wrap things up here. But we'll definitely do a part two.
We'll get you on again, Jake. That was great. Because I want to talk about. Because you and I, football. I grew up. My dad was a Division I football coach. I grew up playing football. That's how I paid for college. I went to a D2 school, but man, he coached at Brigham Young University with Lavelle Edwards when they won a national champ. Growing up, and you and I talk about that. Just the positivity being around guys like Steve Young and Jim McMahon, and then going to Oregon State and being around guys like who was that Oregon State at the time? Was it we had Derek Crichton was the head coach. Oh my gosh, he was an awesome running back that played for the Bengals. But being around guys like that and growing up helped me when I was in the military. And man, they didn't play around those days, and then play football.
It was real back then.
Yeah, it was.
It really has changed in about the last 5 years.
Yeah, I wanted to next time you're on talk about how it's because my dad told me they can't do even 2 days anymore. I'm like, what? You can't
punish. I'm in Illinois. You can't punish a kid.
Holy shit, that's. We gotta get you on again because I want to talk about football.
You can't punish a kid here.
Wow.
So. Yeah, we'll talk again, but especially for you guys interested in what we spoke about really in the first half of the interview, it's jakezweig.com, Jake ZWEIG.com, at Jake Zweig on Twitter, at Jake Zweig 1911 on Instagram. This really flew by, and it's been great, and I think the audience is really going to dig it. So I appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for your service too, brother. And I love the way you train. That's how I went through, and that's how you sink or swim. Either you nut up and you do it, or you don't. And I think the way you train is the best way to do it because that gets the guy there. He's going to prove you wrong and say, you know what, F that motherfucker. F that motherfucker. I'm going to win it, or he's going to say, you know what, maybe this isn't for me.
That ain't for me, man. Hey, Chris, real quick, you're the dude that was working for the 3-letter agency.
Yeah, at the time, I was with Second Ranger Bat before that, and then
they sold you down the river, and they wanted you to.
That was I still love this country more than anything, but I can't stand the government, man. I can't stand all that shit.
You know what's crazy, man? How much mentorship did you have when you were going through that?
Going through the agency stuff.
Yeah.
Going through contracting, I got in right at the beginning. Actually, I was Blackwater when it first started, and we didn't get much at all. It was hey, here we're going doing this. I didn't even know what the hell it was. But as we went, and I actually became an instructor and I was instructing. So the mentorship started to increase. And actually, I learned from another SEAL, was another instructor. He was on Team 8, and he was a medic there, and he taught me how to become a better instructor and mentored it. Now you don't really get mentorship. It's like, here's the vetting course. You either pass it or you don't. All right.
So I tell everybody, like I had a really tumultuous end of my time in the teams because I had a racist ass platoon commander. Like I was a number 2 ranked SEAL at my team for fucking 2.5 years. I get some asshole, and I didn't have any mentorship.
You mean getting out like towards the end?
Like just in general, right? Like just being a frogman. I didn't have anybody. Like I didn't have anybody helping me, right? Like all they would have to do to say to me, listen, Keith Burney is a turd. Okay, he's a complete turd. Don't worry about him. We're gonna take care of you. I know this happened. You'll be fine. Okay. I know you're dealing with a bunch of racial stuff. You're the only black officer on the East Coast. We know that too. Okay. Boom. But if I had a mentor just to say, listen, you were the only black officer for 11 years in the Navy. The only one. I don't care what your fit reps look like. You're gonna make 06. I've been like, okay, let's go. Right? I would let everything go. But the fact that I was in my own head, like you said, I've been dealing with all the craziness, all of that stuff kind of portrayed. But I say this, like I sat in my locker one day and Commander Winters, who's now Admiral Winters, was a maniac over at SEAL Team 4. And I said, man, I need to go get that dude to be my mentor. And if I had made that one different jump, I guarantee I'll still be in the teams or I'll be dead, right? Like, those would be the two options. Because I love the life. I love the job. I love everything about it. But when it got sideways, I couldn't trust anybody, like you're saying, right? And everybody was pointing a finger at me like I did something wrong. And I'm just like, come on, man. Like, this is unbelievable.
Dude, they threw us to the dogs when I went to Yemen after Libya and worked a little bit more. And then even coming back to the office, when we come back on a trip, the team, all of us that were still alive, we were like the redheaded stepchildren. It was like, wait a second, we just saved all your asses. And what did we do wrong? What the hell? And but that's how I've been with them for 7 years with the agency contract. So I had seniority as well. And no, the only mentorship that we got from the agency, no, we didn't get anything from the agency. It was guys within the teams themselves coming in. Like Roan was a dev group. He was a master chief when he came to the team. So, But that wasn't mentorship from the agency. That was just good guys doing the right thing from the community. So no,
yeah, and see, we back then. Now it's so much better.
Is it?
And I call it that lull, right? Like, we had a 20-year lull in combat, really a 30-year lull.
Yeah. And
so because like everybody wasn't important back then, right? Like, you were in the SEAL teams, but no one was super worried. Like, my platoon had got into a little couple gunfights over in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but it wasn't no big bangers.
Sure.
Dev group wasn't chewing it up, right? Like, so the apathy for mediocrity was very high, and you didn't like now, like, dude, like the programs they got now everybody gets a knife from a dead SEAL, right? They get assigned 2 mentors when they go to their SEAL teams. Like, there's a whole process of mentorship to keep people, because the operator is the most important part of the whole function.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It is. It is.
So that's why I asked, man. I saw you your stuff, man. Good stuff, brother. I appreciate your service, man.
You too, brother, and what you do in your training. And I agree with that. That's how I went through training, and I think that's the best way to do it. But there always was that good cop, bad cop. You have like yourself, someone like yourself screaming and yelling at you, and then you got the good cop on the other end, not really giving you hope, but just being that guy, like, all right, giving you the I don't know, you say positive. It's tough, but it's a tough love where you got the other guy saying you can't do it, you can't do it, and I think that helps. I had that. I had somebody say, "Hey, you gonna quit? All right, quit then." And then the other guy, like, really, do you want it? The good guy was, really, do you want to quit? You don't even know what this is about, and you're gonna quit. But the other guy's barking in my ear, "No, quit, dude, quit. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here." But I knew what they were trying to do for me. It was to get my head stronger and like, okay, I'm either gonna nut up or I'm not, and whatever that is, that's best for the unit.
And so, question, guys, could I use any of this that we just said?
Or should I cut it out?
No, use it. Use it. So here's Chris. One more.
All right, because you know the audience is going to want to hear all.
I'm gonna hit this real quick.
I gotta ask permission.
Yeah, you're good, Ian. So real quick, Chris. One thing, like, I know I come across as a complete fucking hard ass, but I tell everybody, I'm a hard ass up until the point that you prove yourself. Then I do tricky shit. So, like, my base at the Naval Academy is so fucking huge right now. I'm scared. Okay, like because I went social media heavy the last year. I normally have 1 or 2 kids a class. Like right now, I got 2 kids at West Point, another one going. So I have like 3 kids at any one of the service academies at one time. I got 14 motherfuckers going to Naval Academy this year.
That's awesome.
So what I'll do is, like, I got 2 females, I hook them up, but I like to send those little nuggets in the middle of the night, Chris, and you can appreciate it.
Yeah.
So my last dude to go through SEER training, one of my dudes is a SEER instructor. So I call him, hey man, yeah, that's my dude. Okay, I want you to just send him a little love and SEALs. Right? So boom, we get done. He graduates from SEER. I'm waiting for the phone call, right? He calls me up. He's like, yo, dude, are you fucking serious? So what happened, man? He said, you sent me a fucking chicken wing? A fucking chicken wing? I was like, did it make you smile? He said, yeah, it made me smile, man. He said, but I was so pissed, man. I hadn't eaten in 24 hours. I was in that fucking cell. They were beating on me. And then a motherfucker walks in and says, hey, man. Hey, Jake wanted you to have this, and gave me a half-eaten chicken. It was half-eaten chicken wing, man. So I ate that chicken wing. I chewed on the bones. It was fucking incredible, man. And I said, so what are you mad at me about? He's like, I don't know. I got mad at you after I ate it and there were no more. I said, good, motherfucker, good. Right? But like, that's the shit. Like, after that love, you send down range.
Yep.
Because and I didn't tell my dude what to do. I just say, hey, man, hook my boy up with a little love in the process.
But that's how you do it. And you know, many packages came to me that said Rear Admiral on it when the RI would get it. And hey, who's Rear Admiral in platoon? It's like, that's me. Like, who the fuck is the jokester in this platoon? And I'd get scuffed up for it. But that was other Rangers doing that to me because, and then I smiled because I thought, who sent that to me? Oh shit! It was Ranger Corps, Rangers, and I'm like, oh my god, they're doing it to me. But I'm doing it out of love, even though I'm getting my ass scuffed up right now because I'm the jokester of the bunch and I'm sticking out. But that's what you do, and that's how you learn. That's how you get stronger.
Oh, you love the care packages that come in.
Yeah.
And like a lot of times, like we get them in a ship in the SEAL teams and shit. Like you get the big care package and you just open that motherfucker up, see what's on top, take whatever you want, leave it on the team table, right? Yep. And so then, motherfuckers planting dumb shit at the bottom of it, right? Like the VHS tape with horses fucking, or like, there's a big ass pink dildo.
That's what I was saying. Purple jelly. I had purple jelly at the purple jelly dog at the bottom.
Yeah. Or a big ass like the super size. You ever seen the big ass super size
of KY
or Vaseline, and it's in there, or like the pack of fucking. So did you guys have the little small condoms for radios and shit?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And use them to put them over the.
So there'll be a pack of those in there. So then for the next fucking day, motherfuckers are hitting you up like, hey man, what's going on, Jake? You need to tell us something. You're like, come on, man. Then you're like, fuck.
That's what's fun though.
But no one understands that shit, right?
Yeah.
You can't understand it when it's so fucking bad. And you did a bunch of combat shit. Like I don't try to portray like I was banging my ass up. I had the distinction to get shot in high school. I had my run-in with the gunfights in high school.
Well, there you go. Because I got shot at, but I never got shot. So you won up me on that one. So we're good.
It wasn't a big deal. Getting shot was no big deal.
It's no big deal.
Again, I was like, damn. I thought I got hit with firecrackers, man. I was like, what the fuck? Then I was bleeding and shit, blood pumping out my leg like this and shit. I was like, damn, that's
a messed up firecracker. You better get that black.
And I was like, but I was going to get the dude because I had saw the dude that shot me.
Oh, okay.
And so I jumped in my car, so I'm gonna get this dude.
All and then
my boy was like, you shot, man, you shot. I was like, oh man, I got shot. I better drive myself. I was the only dude that could drive stick, and my car was a 3 on the tree, 63 Ford Ranchero. I drove myself to the hospital and shit. I almost bled to death bled out in the hospital until I started threatening to shoot people in there. And then I got arrested, and then it was like, were you shooting at people? I said, no, I was taking a piss, man, and got shot in a drive-by. And they were like, oh, okay, we thought you were here. I was like, nah. Then it all hit home when my dad showed up, though, man. Like I did a lot of bad things in high school, man. We fought every weekend. We fought the 2nd Ranger Bat was our favorite target. We go.
Were you living up in the
out Fort Lewis?
Oh
man.
no, were you up there?
Yeah, I was Fort Lewis.
Where were you living in Tillicum?
Steilacoom.
Yeah, Tillicum is that's.
No, not Tillicum, Steilacoum.
Oh, you live in Steilacoum.
Yeah, right on the water. I live in a great area.
That is a great area. I was going to say Tillicum. I said, yeah, you did live in the ghetto then. Yeah, that's the hood back there.
Parkland.
Like, you don't want to go in Parkland. No, I know that. I lived in Puyallup and then I lived in Olympia when we moved to which Olympia wasn't bad. I liked them.
Yeah. So I grew up in Puyallup.
Yeah,
my
Puyallup.
grandmother's house is in Puyallup. The food bank's in Puyallup.
Yep. Puyallup. Yeah, I know where that. No, Puyallup's actually wasn't a bad place. I didn't mind. I lived in a little $200 apartment. Wasn't nothing.
Yeah, I was the only black kid in the whole city.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I get shot, and so my dad shows up, and like you running and gunning, and you just fighting and doing all this crazy shit. And my dad showed up. He wear flannel shirts. So my dad's a big logger, truck driver, right? White guy, full beard, flannel shirt on, buttons off by 3 buttons. Okay, so like he had buttoned it up, but it was off by 3 buttons, and he had 1 shoe on. And he had done 4 years in prison. So like my dad was a hard dude.
Yeah.
And when I saw him come around the corner, and I was handcuffed to the gurney going into the X-ray. And dude, he was bright red, and his shirt was all messed up. He had 1 shoe on, and he came. What the fuck? And I was like, Dad, I was taking a piss, man. I got shot. He was like, "Are you gonna?" The doctor's like, "He's gonna be fine. It's not life threatening, whatever." He was like, I was like, holy shit. And then my grandmother's reaction, my grandmother passed out when I told her I had been shot.
Oh, wow.
I went and saw my grandmother the next day. She fell out.
Right.
And I was going to Naval Academy in 3 weeks. I didn't leave the house again.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Well, I don't want to cut you off here, man. I know Chris is going to have to spend some family time. We're going super long.
We're
here.
getting like what? No, we got to get Jake back on. We got to get
you
back
probably
on.
like 20 minutes ago at this point. So if it's cool, we're going to wrap things up.
Yeah, Ian. Like I didn't realize I was starting to crit.
No, man, no. And that's.
Hey, I don't want to sound, like I didn't tell you because I did say that.
No. I don't. Like I said, that's why with the TV stuff, I'm just me, dude. I'll always be me. And I when we get done, I'm gonna have to go clean the kitchen. I'm gonna have to go wash the dishes. I'm gonna go play with my 5-year-old, and that's just me. That's why I know when you say about the social media and all that. I'm right there with you. I agree. It's fucking awful. It's a damn near a necessity though for what we do now and I hate it. I really do. But it is a necessity. But you're still doing positive stuff.
How old are you, Chris?
I'm 50. I turned 50 last month.
We're the same age.
Yeah, we're the same age.
And it's crazy because when do you have how old are your kids?
I have a 16, a 12, and then I have a 5 now.
Okay, so I got a 9, 7, and 5.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's crazy because all my guys with kids in the teams, the kids don't talk to them no more. Right? Like, and it's all the same thing. Like you're saying, like your 16-year-old's relationship is different than your 5.
No, it is. Him and I, we talked about it on the show. We had to patch it up because I was gone. Dude, he was born. I was gone after he was born. I stayed home for a week and I was gone for 7 months. Then I came back for a month. Then I was gone for another 5. And basically till he was 12, I was not home. My 12-year-old, same thing. I was gone the whole time. But the 5-year-old, I mean, I feel bad because I do love playing around with my 5. I love it. I wish I had those same memories with my 16-year-old that I'm going to have with my 5-year-old. Because right now I'm going to go downstairs and play. But I tell guys that go in, I know you tell them the same thing. Hey, if you really want to do this, you're going to sacrifice something, and it's probably going to be family time. So I'm just telling you right now, you're not going to have your cake and eat it too. You have to do one or the other, and you're going to sacrifice down the line. You're giving yourself for this, and it's not just the mission, or you may sacrifice your life. You're sacrificing time that other people are spending with with their families. But I'm blessed like you are. At least I got young kids still, though, that I can repair those relationships. And the 5-year-old has no idea because he wasn't born when I was doing all this. So.
It's like crazy, brother. Like I tell you, like we come from the same bush, right? I'm gonna talk to you next time, Ian. Write a note. We're talking about the fucking South Fort Lewis Ranger Training Center. Because I'm gonna tell this motherfucker. I know he been at the Fire and Movement course on South Fort Lewis.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit him because I wasn't doing bad when you were there though. I wasn't quite. But we're gonna fucking light fire. You make a note, Ian.
We're gonna keep all this on the show, so we'll get into it.
Talk about Regensburg and all that other shit. Oh yeah.
But it's crazy because I tell people, man, like. It's a pirate lifestyle, man. I just watched the pirate documentary on Netflix. It's fucking awesome. And I said, that's what being a SEAL is all like, man. Like there, you don't have a home. You don't have a life. There ain't no women. You just bang, you work. You're gone 300 days a year. When you come home, you might fucking cut your grass, but you probably got somebody else to do that because you're never there. Like you got all this shit going on. And like I had I had a professor at Michigan State, had an awesome female. Both of them had nervous breakdowns. I wasn't even fucking doing shit. I was I'm in fucking training right now. Dropped one off at the hospital on the airport to go to Puerto Rico because she swore I was going to Colombia to kill that.
The relationship, man, that's why my wife's stuck with me. We've actually been separated once and then divorced once, and we've reconciled both times. She's that's crazy. She's awesome. She's tougher than I am, man.
Dog, you need to give her everything in the world.
That's why I believe me. She'll come in here in a little bit. She'll go, "Hey, are you done?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm done. I gotta get." No, she's my angel, and she's still gorgeous as hell. And that's why I always tell people, if you're gonna date anybody, date a volleyball player because they don't age, man.
At Jake Zweig 1911 on Instagram.
Awesome.
And jakeswig.com. Follow him. I guess don't follow him though if you're a woman with fake hips and acid plants. That's not your thing.
Don't bring that shit over here. I heard you. Chris,
All
man,
right,
it's an honor to be on here. I wish I'd have known before.
Shit,
let's let it ride.
Yeah, dude.
Second Ranger bad, baby.
Yeah, this was great, man.
And, man, hey, and thanks again for your service. Keep training people how you're doing it, man. That's the right way.
So wrapping things up here, I mean, we had other things to talk about, but you know what? Usually we'll say, I think it was a good show. I mean, if we can't get the guest to stop talking, he obviously had a good time.
Yeah, so, he did. No, it's good.
I think we wrapped up like 3 times.
3 times, but that was awesome with it because it just he's real and that's what people and you know the F-bombs and stuff like that. I don't, and I wrote those in my book. I'm a Christian and I still drop F-bombs. Doesn't make me a bad Christian.
But it's also why we can't be in the faith category.
Well, that's also why we can't be in the faith category.
Because you know someone will be listening to Joel Osteen and
I know, and they'll
have us on and they'll be like, this doesn't sound similar.
But that's it's just being real. And when you're going and he teaches the agent, you know, he teaches and he mentors SEALs. We're getting so touchy-feely nowadays and it's starting to filter into the community, special ops community. You can't have that. You can't. It does. Guys, it makes it weaker. It does mentally. You have to have that toughness, and you can't bristle when somebody says, "Hey, you're effed up." You have to be able to sink or swim. You have to be able to either to say, "All right, really? That's what you're saying to me? All right, I'm going to prove your ass wrong," or it's just not for you, and you go the other direction. We had Ben Morgan on, when we had Tom Block on, when we had who's another SEAL that we had on, brother, that we've had.
Oh, Jack Carr.
Jack Carr, another. You know, I guarantee you, every one of them had that. And I know Ben specifically, Morgan, we had him on, was in the face like, "You suck, you can't make it, you're shit." And every one of those guys, no, really, is that what you think? And me included, or really? All right, you think I'm the shit? I'm going to pass you up. That's
or not the shit. You think I'm shit.
You think I'm shit, and because and then that's not like that. Then I'm going to become the shit, and I'm going to. And every one of those guys did that, and that's how they excelled, and that's what the community is supposed to be for. So with him coming out there and saying, and I don't see it as a negative, him coming out to and saying, "Hey, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it." If that doesn't instill the fire that you're going to prove him wrong, then you're probably not going to make it. That's what he's trying to do, is to say, "All right, I doubt you can do this." You want to have that person look right back in the eyes, that student, and go, "Bullshit, I'm going to prove you wrong."
Yeah. You know what? Everything has its time and place, and they both have their time and place. I'll tell you something real quick.
No, go ahead.
I was going for like I don't even think it was a PR on a deadlift, not too far long ago at the gym. And I actually have never used chalk before this, never brought it. And I also don't think anybody is looking at me. Like, everybody's doing their own thing. And I just wasn't getting it. My hands kept slipping off the bar. Yep. And I figured, you know what? I'll do this another day. Who cares? I have my music always on blasting in my headphones. Some guy at the gym came up to me and he's like, "I know you could do that, man. Here's some chalk. You have it. It's just slipping out of your hands. You could do this." And that not only made my day, that positivity, but yes, I did do it. And I ended up buying chalk because of it. So sometimes like that positivity is great. Sometimes the negativity works. You have to have that.
There's a time and place. No, you're exactly right. And having an instructor like that tell me I couldn't do it, and then I proved him wrong. And then when they come back to you, and because it's a show. It's a show. It's not that they're trying. It's just, "Hey, I'm trying to get you going. I need just." Having them come up to me, I had a drill sergeant Harney, that was just the devil when I was going through basic training. He was the devil. He was this tall black guy, looked like a demon. Drill Sergeant Harney. Oh, I hated him. He was so mean and just physically. I remember him smacking a guy with a paddle. This is when you could do that back in basic training. But he pushed us so hard, and it was like, "You guys are shit. You guys are shit. You guys are shit." And then it was. But he was teaching us too. He was teaching us everything. And then towards the end, people started to rise to the top. And when he would come up to me and said, "Hey, dude," at the end of the course, at the end of basic training, I graduated being the distinguished honor graduate of my class, of my basic training class. And him coming up to me, and actually he was the one that handed me the medal and everything that you get, when you're that, and smiling at me. I couldn't have felt more proud from any other person, just because I figured out, okay, really, he wasn't that mean of a guy. That's just what his way of getting me and getting guys to go beyond what they could comfortably go beyond, making us uncomfortable. And then after that, it was all positivity after that. It was, you can do this. You got it. You got it. Because I proved to him that I could suck it up. And it felt so good. So even in the negative parts at the beginning, if you can push through it, even with guys like myself, if I'm berating you at the beginning and you finally get to the end, believe me, I am so proud of you, because you not only dealt with your own demons, but you dealt with mine as well as I'm pushing on you. So you're right. There's sometimes there's a negativity that transfers into a positivity at the end. We just want to see what you got. We're trying to bring it out of you. I agree, dude. I agree. Yeah. It is in context, and there are times to be a shithead and be negative, it's an act, guys. It really is. It's an act more than anything. But there's also times that, hey, man, you can do this. Get it together. You can do it. And I do that as well. So no, you're
as an instructor, I know with firearm stuff.
Oh yeah,
I've seen you do it.
Yeah.
On video. I haven't been to a course myself. But
yeah, and you better.
I will definitely at some point. I'll be there, man. But this was definitely a fun show to do. And I know Jake could laugh at himself. So that the one thing I'll say, I've seen people say it in his comments too, and he could laugh at it. That Jake definitely has the Mr. Mackey thing where it's
he's got
okay. Everything that Jake says is okay.
I didn't even think about that till you said it.
Because I've seen people post Mr. Mackey.
Mr. Mackey and Jake. Okay.
But love to having him on. Guys, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Just spread the word of the show. That's how the word gets out. And support our sponsors. Support Audible, Ned, and Fort Scott. The links are in description. We have more merch on the way. I have my Battleline podcast mug right here.
Well, and
those look awesome.
Yeah, the Peak Engraving makes them for us. They are outstanding. I got rid of all my other coffee mugs because those are the only ones I use now. They're fantastic mugs, and I use them to actually have a drink every once in a while in, because they're perfect. They're tremendous, and they last. So guys, those aren't cheaply made mugs.
No.
And they do a great job on the graphics. So I know I got mine too. Granted, no, I have my Battleline mug right now. Just the one I grabbed.
Thank you, Jeremy Mitchell, if you're listening. Those will be up on Tonto's Gear Locker?
Yeah, they're up on Tonto's Gear Locker. They should be getting up here. We'll probably do an email blast with them. As far as dog play that here in the next week or so, my wife will get it out. So we'll get up on Tonto's Gear Locker, check that out, and grab one of those mugs. And no, they turned out great, man. They're awesome. Love them.
Yeah, it's a fun design. So thank you, Jeremy. That's really it. I appreciate you going long. Granted, I'm not the one who kept us long.
I know.
I definitely think that's a good thing if someone we have on really enjoys being on with us.
Because it's normally me that's trying to wrap it. I'm giving Ian like, come on, let's. I need to go. But that was a blast, and I love talking to guys within the community, because it doesn't matter for SEALs, pararescue, combat controllers, unit guys, SF guys. Really, we speak the same languages. Personalities may be different, but we always have something in common. And then it brings back memories, which Jake's did, not just from the Army when I was in, but from football as well, which I can't wait to have him on again, because we get to talk about football. And that's still a passion in my life, even with all the damn political crap goes on with athletics. I still believe and love athletics and think kids should grow up playing sports. So, because I did, and it was awesome, especially when I was growing up and in high school, and I see it in my son too. And it's something that builds teamwork, and it's fun, and it makes you work with people of different personalities. Believe me, Dixie College, I had more legitimate gangsters on that team from Vegas, Salt Lake City, Southern California. And watching them, and I wrote about it in the Ranger Way too, watching them, guys that normally literally would kill each other on the streets, Bloods, Crips, so forth, coming together on a team. And me being this little Mexican kid, that little Speedy Gonzalez, watching this all come together. And then you get the white kids, the Mormons, that are going to go to Brigham Young coming in, and everybody didn't give two craps what ethnicity you were, what gang you were with. And playing, and we finished second in the nation my first year, and we were ranked first in the nation my second year in the junior college athletic system, which honestly, that's pretty tremendous. I mean, we're playing guys like Charlie Garner, who played with the Eagles, Toby Wright, who played with the Rams. Those are guys that we're playing against in their junior colleges there in Phoenix. That's where I got the really, not just the military, but that's where I got the first taste of, doesn't matter the differences. If you want to win and you want to accomplish goals, you'll forget those differences and you'll come together, and watching gangsters, real life colors, gangsters, Bloods and Crips and Tongan Crip gangsters come together with the white boys from the farms and have amazing teams. I was like, man, that's why I don't get all wrapped up in the ethnicity and stuff, because I know we can come together, because I've seen it happen with kids, even with 17 and 8-year-olds. So anyway, I went down a rabbit hole again. I got to shut up. We're going to go another 3 hours on this thing, so sorry.
That's all for this episode of the Battleline podcast, but we'll be back on Monday with more American straight talk. Until then, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Battleline Podcast and on Twitter at Battleline Pod. To sign up for future Battleline tactical courses, go to www.christantoperanto.net. Believe in yourself, face all challenges head on, and as always, never quit.